Good morning team, XRP Charts here with a quick 5-minute update. Okay, yesterday on the XRP 4-hour chart you can see that we're selling around here. We got the drop down yesterday, almost down to our 13 EMA. If you were lucky enough to have it set just a little bit above, you would have got a good 5 to 6% return on that one there. And then if you were smart enough again, you could have flipped it and then sold right again at the 55. So again, probably making another 5% on that one as well. You're not going to get that every time, but as you can see, I mean, the price action was literally just playing ping pong between these two. So it's that's the reason that we try and use these ones. If you didn't get the sell there and you didn't get your stop loss buy activated going up this way, then you definitely would have got it sold there. So you still should have made a couple of percent either way. Just on the stop loss buys, it's a good learning exercise that if you did get stopped up halfway, you'll eventually work out what works for you. It'll be your threshold of disappointment from getting stopped out too early or not having it set early enough if it decides to go the other way. So it's just trial and error until you find something that's suitable to your risk tolerance and your pain threshold, I guess. So, but looking to today, you can see that we're opening a candle just above, and it's starting to drop down. We've still got 2.5 hours on the candle, so again, this could just wick down and then come back up. We haven't closed an entire red candle, so I wouldn't be looking to sell just yet. So the other reason for that is if we go to our Bitcoin chart, we can have a look here and see what it's doing as well. So yesterday I opened my short just up in this region here. I was going to put a stop loss buy a stop loss into profit. I just let it run. It actually put me back in the red up here, which is fine. And the reason I let it do that was because this MACD was somewhere down around here. So it was gonna, if the price is going up and this is still going down, I was still confident that this was going to come back down. So I just let that run into the red a little bit. Once it started dropping down, I went to bed around this point once I thought that was the peak there. I've had to alter the count a little bit, but anyway, the same thing is MAD's retracement target doesn't change. It's still from that crater up to here. We're looking at that sort of around the 4,000 mark. I'm probably going to get a little bit greedy and go a little bit lower, just because we might get a wick down. What I'm actually going to do is try and flip this short into a long straight away. So I'll flip it, and so I've got this on leverage at the moment, and I'll flip that into a long, and hopefully we get a bit of a bounce here, and then I can get a stop loss buy underneath it. Sorry, a stop loss sell underneath it as soon as possible. So I'll have a free look at how high this could bounce. I mean, it could bounce up higher if it decides it wants to do another impulse run. We could go up higher. If not, it could just be a little bounce, and I might make a couple of $100 just going up that way there. Overall, we're still looking in the long term to trend downwards, but it just depends on what this bounce does here. So as you can see here, we didn't even make it up to the trend line there, so it's very weak buying in that circumstance now. And if that's the end of 5 waves, then this looks like it's going to be a leading diagonal, which it has actually just hit almost perfectly on there. So and then I expected this to rally a bit and then come down for the final C wave. So if we're at this point here and we're selling here, I mean, it doesn't make a lot of sense if we're going to start to trend upwards here. So I mean, with that amount of upward movement, well, we could probably even hit the 55 again. So I would be very interested in setting a sell somewhere at the 55 again. So we've gone 55, 13, 55, 13, 55 again, and then from there, if that starts to drop, I would probably not safely assume, but with some degree of certainty, say from 55 we may even go down, back down just a little bit below here. So you might be able to scalp a little bit extra on that one, but otherwise just play the 13 to be safe. Eventually it gets to a point where these two aren't far enough apart to make any decent profit with your fees, but yeah, look, it's still, I mean, from 39ish down to 37, you're still 4% or something like that. So it's still worth it at this stage. Yeah, that's about all we've got at the moment. But yeah, look, let's keep an eye on that. I'm really interested to see how this MABS retracement goes. And another thing to look at here as well is that this trend line carries all the way back to here. So, and if we're looking at this, the overall MABS retracement, you're looking at something, if there's the first indents here, yeah, and that takes us down to our other MABS retracement target. So all these things work in harmony. The other thing to look at as well, and you'll probably see on a lot of the other guys' charts as well, is that, so where's our wave one starting there? Our retracement now from our new target. And what do we get? So the 0.5 fib retracement level is smack bang on our MABS retracement as well. So all these things on the charts tend to work in harmony. A lot of traders come up with the same targets using different methods. This wasn't even based on Fibonacci retracement levels. This was just purely on MABS retracement, and we end up with the same results. So we've got good confluence there across a number of things. So pretty interested in seeing a bounce around this 4,000 mark. Hopefully we get a little bit of a wick a bit lower, and then we'll go from there. All right, guys. Yeah, the only other questions were on the stop losses. And like I said, here if you're selling and then you're setting your stop loss, you've just got to work out when you start missing out on good opportunities because your stop losses are too tight. If you've got 5 in a row where you've been stopped out and they would have been good winners, maybe just relax your stop loss a bit, add another % to your stop loss, or even 0.5% until you start finding that you're going to have more winners than you are stop losses. And if it's the same way, if you find that when you're getting wrecked, you're getting really wrecked because your stop loss was way too high, maybe bring it in a bit to try and reduce your risk there as well. So it's not going, there's no set method to do it like here. I mean, we went up by, a ton, nearly 3 or 4% there. So it would have been better to have a tight one here and then, possibly caught a sell up here somewhere, but you've just got to, it's just trial and error to whatever your risk level is, and it's going to be different every time, so there's no set formula for that. So, yeah, any questions, just hit me up on Twitter, guys. Cheers.